Your heart feels heavy because you're carrying around the weight of your past. Grand rising, handsome kings and beautiful queens, and welcome to the Beyond Abuse podcast. Your heart feels heavy because you're carrying around the weight of your past. What do I mean by that? I've been focusing more on using my intuitive gifts when I do these podcasts. So I'm going to start delivering more messages from spirit, and I know that everything that I do is inspired by spirit because I just really live in the present moment. And that's how I find myself being creative. I don't I don't like to force things because then I know that it's not natural. Even when I create my podcast, like I may write some things, but they're just really notes for me to kind of like jog my memory when I'm talking on here, so that I can just remember, because it's all inspired. So it's not like, it's not like it's made up. So everything is inspired, so it automatically just comes back. But I have to write it down because sometimes you'll forget like the titles or things like that. So I'll write it down and like, oh yeah, make that point. So like, I'm focusing more on that, and that's using my intuitive gifts because, for so long I was talked about, like, especially like in my marriage, like he would try to act like I wasn't intuitive, like I really couldn't read through him, and I can, and that's a gift of mine. Like I used to say, like my one superpower would be reading people's minds. And I mean, I don't know if it's reading people's mind, but I know how to read people. Like I read people, I feel like I'm clairvoyant, I'm clairsentient, I'm clairaudient, I can hear. So, I'm just using more of those spiritual gifts. And so what I'm doing is I want to channel more messages. I want to become quiet and silent and listen, or like, okay, say for instance, I get like a meme pops up, right? So what I'll do is I'll listen for a title, and then I'll use that meme, and then what I'll do is draw a card from one of my decks. So what I'm going to do is, get my inspiration from memes or videos that I see on TikTok, and I already have like a list of titles. So whatever matches those titles, and then I'll pull the card. And it's so funny. I've been doing this now for the past, well, this is the first episode that I'm recording, but I have two more that I pulled. And it's funny because when you're connected to the universe really does use anything and anyone to speak through that, right? So that's why I'm with my coach, Evan Carmichael, because I really do feel like he's a guide from spirit, because like it seems like everything he tells me to do, I do it. And even though it may not be exactly as he said, because like I'll do it at first exactly as he said, but if it doesn't vibe with me and who I am authentically, then I'll tweak it a little bit. But I try to take everything that he gives me, every nugget that he gives me, and I run with it, right? So just stepping more into who I am naturally, because this is who I am. I am an intuitive. I am highly intuitive. I feel, I know things. And, like I was saying before, like my children's father, he would like say that I was crazy, but no, I trust my intuition. And the thing is that I really wasn't trusting my intuition, because I didn't know how to cultivate that gift. I didn't know how to really tap into that gift. So, and a lot of the times I was ashamed. So when I'm giving advice, it's intuitive advice. It's intuitively guided. It's intuitively channeled. It's not from my mind. It's something that I'm receiving from spirit. So I'm going to do that more in the podcast, in the YouTube videos, because I really do just want to step more into that. And even though I do angel card readings, I don't do it, for on YouTube or TikTok or anything like that. I have separate appointments. You can schedule that. But I'm using them primarily to give intuitive advice for anyone who resonates with it. Because I know I'm not the only one who resonates with it. I know there's someone else that will resonate with it. So, and that's really how I do all my motivational videos in the car. I just set the phone up before I even pull out of the parking lot, and then when inspiration hits, I simply hit record. It's the same like when I was driving to Florida for our vacation. Like I would just hit record, and then like I would get things to write too. But of course I can't write on the road, right? So I would hit my voice memos or the notes, and then I'll just begin to speak. And so I can come back and write that stuff out. And I did that a couple of times at night in the hotel, for the things that I had gotten when inspiration hit. But this is what I tell people: when inspiration hit, write it down. Write it down, because maybe it's not the full book, maybe it's not the full poem, maybe it's not the full song, whatever it is that you are, whatever gift you use, maybe it's not the full thing, but you can get bits and pieces. So sometimes it is a full writing, and then I just intuitively add on to the writing, or it's just a little poem. And like I did one the other day, and I'm like, I feel like it's supposed to be more, and Spirit's like, no, this is the poem. So this is how I get my guidance, my inspiration. Now, that's not to say that I'm not inspired by other people, because I have been, and I continue to be, so, and I just, channel my messages from Spirit. I like to receive my channeled messages from Spirit. So, for this podcast, I pulled from the daily guidance from your angels oracle card deck. And the card was, let your past go. And I had already had this title, right? So this is how I'm saying, like, Spirit is just like Johnny on the spot. Like, I had this title, I pulled this card, here's the message. And so I think it's very fitting, because, I did a video on April 2nd, and that it'll be posted at the end of this video. But, like I said, I already had this title in my notes. So I know that this is nothing but divine guidance, not just for myself, because like I said, when I do these videos, I know a lot of this is really, speaking to my heart. When I write those letters, at first I was like, oh yeah, this is who I'm writing to. But it's not. Like, it's the divine masculine within me. It's the divine masculine energy within me. I'm speaking from that point of view. Or maybe it's my divine feminine speaking to my divine masculine. I don't know. I'm just writing. Before, in my other poetry books, was I writing about somebody? Yes. I was letting a lot of those residual emotions and feelings go. Actually, there's a couple people that I was writing about. Like, I know in one of my books, the Love Tank on Full or something. I don't know what the title is, but that one was about my children's father. Forgiveness, I think, was about my children's father. And then, there's a whole bunch in there that were inspired, from the man from 2015. And there were some in there that were inspired by the man from 2019. So, but this time, like, going through, and then, like, some of them in Birds Set Free are inspired by the poet, and also some in the letters to the divine masculine were inspired by the poet's writing. So, but I know now it's just the divine masculine, so even though I thought I was writing to him, it's really just a divine masculine. It's a divine masculine I'm speaking to, and we all have a divine masculine within all of us, right? We all have that feminine and masculine polarities within each of us. Even though most people don't believe that, it's because they haven't tapped into that within themselves, and they haven't created that balance, to love both parts of themselves. So, the message says, the burden of carting your past around has made you weary, dear one. It's time to set this burden down. Keep only the lessons and the love, and leave everything behind. You don't want it or need it, and it's now gone. Your thoughts and your feelings about the past are holding you back. You're repeating a pattern because of unfinished emotions from your past. This card is a sign to forgive and move on, to stop painful patterns. It doesn't mean that you need to be with the person you've forgiven. It simply means that you've let toxic feelings go in exchange for peace. And I resonated with this because I have been holding on to those painful emotions from that relationship in 2015. I've been holding on to them. My heart has been really heavy because of that. I even made a video the other day where I cried because it's like this year I really want to let that stuff go. I really want to remember the love, remember the lessons, you know. But I want to lay that burden down. You know, I don't want my past to continuously affect my future, you know, my present. You know, and I know a lot of the reasons why the man in 2019 and I didn't work out is because I still was holding on to those residual emotions. Now I wasn't taking them out on him. I still treated him like he deserved to be treated. You know, even in spite of the way that he treated me, I still treated him with love. But I also know that I was a lot in comparison, you know, like, you know, he didn't, you know, like just comparing the two. And that's not fair. That's not fair to him. And that's not fair to my future. You know, I got to take the lessons and the love that I received from that and move on with my life. And that's what I'm doing this year, you know. And it's like I just need to let that unfinished business go, right? Because I guess it was always like me feeling like we had unfinished business, but it's like, no, maybe that was just all it was supposed to be, you know, to awaken me to who I truly am as a soul and what I truly came to do. Because, you know, while it didn't feel good in the midst of it and going through it and, you know, hitting rock bottom and having thoughts of suicide and days of depression and anxiety and panic attacks, I learned so much about myself. I learned to trust in myself. I learned to trust in divine guidance and my intuitive gifts, you know, because for so long I questioned them. I questioned whether they were right and true. And now I know today that when my intuition says, leave his ass alone, leave his ass alone, okay? Leave his ass alone, okay? Stop reaching out. Stop calling. Go on with your business. Go on with your life. That man's not ready for you. And for years, I chased behind that man. Well, and you know, it was like, I know that I was not ready for him. You know, I always felt like he was on another level than I was. You know, like he was willing to give, you know, and now that I've taken that time to heal my own heart, I don't mind giving either, you know, whether it's a relationship or not, you know, and I was able to prove that in 2019. You know, I was able to take care of that man without expecting anything in return. And in return, he gave me his time. You know, we spent time together. We went on trips together, you know, so, you know, and it's best to forgive, you know, and I've forgiven everybody in my past, you know, because I know that it wasn't just one side. I know it just wasn't one person, the reason why the relationships ended. You know, even in 2019, I know that there were things that I did that made him feel like, you know, feel a certain way. But I also know that he had his own things to work on. And, you know, there was a lot of residual stuff coming up from his end. So, you know, we had some discussions about that. But I was more secure in who I was when I dated him. I was okay to leave him alone. You know, and I hadn't always been like that, you know, so just getting better, just, you know, now when I walk away, I'm not going back, you know, so, just getting really better at doing that. So, you know, and, you know, when you forgive people, it doesn't mean that they need to come back into your life, unless you cherish that relationship deeply, and that person has gone and done the necessarily healing work, and they have grown out of those unhealthy patterns. Then that's on you whether you want to give that relationship another try. Because there are some relationships after the fact that you think, what, we probably would have been the best of friends. We could have been the best of friends. That person inspires me. Whatever it is that you think about that person, if it's worth keeping the relationship, make sure that person has actively gone and worked through their healing, and they're no longer displaying those unhealthy patterns. Flirting with other men or women to make you jealous or whatever the issue was. And so, it always amazes me how people realize the value that you bring to their lives after they've mishandled you. And I really do think that there are exceptions to every rule. And I know I've been guilty of mishandling people in my life. But I also know when I recognize the value in someone. But here's the thing. I've been known to recognize value where people don't recognize their own value. And I'm steadily trying to get them to see their own value. But what I learned is that if a man cannot see his own worth, if he can't see his own value, then nothing you say, nothing you do will ever change that man's mind. Because, and I think it's James Allen that says, as a man thinketh, so is he. So if a man thinks that he's not worthy, that he's not enough, then he's not going to be that. He's not. He's not going to do the things that make him believe that he's worthy or enough. He's going to have the behaviors that show you that he's not enough. That show you that he's not deserving of your light and your love. Because we all deserve what we're willing to give. And if we're willing to give the bare minimum, then that's what we deserve. If we're willing to pour everything, give our everything, then that's what we deserve, right? So, yeah. So, and I recognize value when I see it, so, and that's how I felt about the man in 2015. I knew, I knew my hands were not ready to hold him because of all of my past emotional baggage, because my heart was heavy from the past, because I still was in my victim mindset. I still was talking about what my ex had did to me. I still was holding on to that heavy ass weight, and I knew that. I knew I was not ready. I still was not even out of my marriage. There was still things that I needed to work on. And that's what I told him. I really do need to take this year for myself. I really do. But then I lost my damn mind when I saw him, in a relationship with somebody else. And it was just like, yeah, it was a hot mess. But, I've grown from that situation. I'm growing from that situation. This is my year to fully leave all of that behind and fully move forward in my life, so that when I'm out there enjoying my life and having a good time and I meet somebody, my heart is really ready to receive that. So, I knew that I wasn't ready, but I still played with his heart. I still did, because I was in that emotional space. He wasn't texting me anyway, but I wouldn't talk to him for 2 months, and then I would text him and try to come back into his life. And, I stayed by myself for 9 months. And then when I saw that he was with that girl, I reached out again and tried to have sex with him. Like, it was just a big, huge mess, right? Because I was just really emotionally immature. very emotionally immature. And so I really had to work through that. And so, you know, I knew I wasn't ready to receive and appreciate the value he added to my life, because, you know, he was like very like, I really don't even know how to explain it, but he gave me mental, emotional, and spiritual intimacy. And that's really, you know, like it was like my spirit was like, this is it. This is the love. This is the type of love that you deserve and that you're looking for, or that you want. Because I mean, at that time I was looking, but like now I'm not looking. But that's the kind of love that I want. That mental connection, that emotional connection, and the spiritual connection. But the great thing was is that it was like a holistic connection, you know. But you know, I knew that he added value to my life, but I still wanted to hold on to him instead of like letting him go and going to work on myself. So my selfishness ruined, you know, what we had, because by that time it's like, you know what, don't call me no more, you know, forget about me, you know. So, and I don't blame him, you know, I don't blame him at all. You know, I see now why he did. It really is a boundary in protecting himself from toxicity, you know, from me and my toxic habits, you know. But, you know, I'm learning, you know, and I'm a better version of me. I'm a healthier version of me. I'm changing, you know, those unhealthy patterns, you know, so that when someone comes into my life, I know how to be mature enough to let them go. You know, I know how to be mature enough to talk to them and say, you know, hey, even though I was like that in the beginning, like, you know, hey, you know, I've been recognizing, you know, the vibe is changing, you know, something going on, you know. But, you know, I don't know what happened in the midst of that. I don't know, but, you know, after taking this healing journey for these past 6 years, you know, I know now how to communicate with someone. And that's, you know, like I was tripping over the port, and it's like, you know what? He ain't even said nothing. Why is you tripping? You know what I'm saying? Like, he ain't even confirmed nothing. You know, and here you are getting emotionally attached. Like, step back. And so I had to take a step back, you know, because like you can see yourself getting too emotionally attached, and like he not even involved. You know what I'm saying? So like you got to be very aware of that, and that's who I am. You know, like I'm gonna give my all. Like it's not gonna be to the point now. Well, I know now I can lose myself in somebody, because I'm not gonna lose myself. I know how to find myself now. You know, so I know how to be my own love, and that's really what the self-love journey is about. Is being okay with giving your all in a relationship, and knowing that even if that person betrays you or attempts to hurt you, that you have the power and the strength to walk away. And I'm glad that the universe protected him from me, you know, and his rejection and him ignoring me was for me to learn, you know, that, hey, you're asking for this holistic love, but you are not willing to give it to yourself. You're not even giving that holistic love to yourself, you know. And so, because the universe knew I wasn't fully prepared to appreciate it. I wasn't being consistent. I wasn't being, you know, acting like I wanted a commitment. You know, I was acting like I just wanted to be a fuck girl, a side piece. You know, I wasn't acting like a queen. I did things that made men think that I didn't value or respect myself. A lot of my relationships, you know, but going forward in my life, I respect and love myself. And I know that I give myself a lot more. So no, thank you, but no, thank you. You know, and I used to look at rejection and make it all about me. But what I'm learning on this journey is that sometimes rejection is a catalyst for you to work through your shit, so you can fully embrace your blessings without treating them like they're disposable or like they don't matter. Sometimes rejection is the catalyst for you just to enjoy your life and live out your dreams instead of waiting for your life to happen, but really getting involved in your life and making shit happen, because you are the creator of your life. God gifted you with the ability to create. You are a creator. We are all creators. Doesn't matter if I'm a woman in our birth creation. We're all creators, and we all have these beautiful, amazing, and abundance of gifts and talents. When you begin to love yourself, you begin to tap into that. You know, sometimes rejection is the catalyst for you to enjoy the best of all the universe has for you. You know, because maybe that relationship wasn't supposed to work, because maybe that wasn't the best. Maybe that wasn't the best at that time. Who knows? Here I am thinking that's the best for me. But the universe has my back and wants the best for me. And I know that now. So if things end, know that sometimes it means no. Sometimes it means not right now. Sometimes it means yes. And sometimes it means no. No. You know? So the universe is always protecting us, whether we see it or not. You know, and contrary to popular belief, the universe loves us unconditionally. Think about how many times we've cheated on the universe. Think about how many times we've lied to the universe. Think about how many times we betrayed the universe. And the universe still loves us. And the universe wants nothing but the best for us. You know? So I'm going to end today with a message from Spirit. And that message says, Spirit said, you are wondering, how could I forgive you after how you treated me? And the answer is because I love you. I can only ask you the same thing. How could you forgive me after how I treated you? I knew you were a treasure when I stumbled upon you, and my spirit leaped inside of my body the moment you embraced me. After experiencing mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical intimacy with you, I knew my heart wasn't ready, wasn't strong enough to carry the weight of your love, of that love. Because real love also comes with pain. But that pain is not the same pain that we experience in abuse. It's the pain of growth. And I'm addicted to that shit. I had only experienced the fake shit before you. And I knew I needed to get my heart, mind, body, and soul on the energy of high vibrational love. 1 Corinthians 4:7 in the Message Bible reads, love never gives up. Love cares more for others than for self. Love doesn't want what it doesn't have. Love doesn't strut. Love doesn't have a swelled head. Doesn't force itself on others. Isn't always me first. Doesn't fly off the handle. Doesn't keep score of the sins of others. Doesn't revel when others grovel. Takes pleasure in the flowering of truth. Puts up with anything. Trusts God always. Always looks for the best. Never looks back, but keeps going to the end. I love the Message Bible because it has a hood vibe. I think it has a hood vibe, and that matches my energy. And I love the Bible and the wisdom it provides. But after learning how to love myself unconditionally beyond the abuse of my past, here is how I interpret that scripture. Love never gives up, but it's never controlling, because there is never a need to force yourself upon anyone. Love cares more for others because love understands It's not about the self. Love never wants what it doesn't have because love is always enough. Love isn't always me first because love understands the power of service. Love doesn't strut because it's already confident in its power. Love doesn't have a swelled head because it learned the lessons found in rock bottom. Love doesn't fly off the handle because love is grounded in peace. Love doesn't keep score of the sins of others because love accepts and holds itself accountable for the sins they have placed upon others. Love doesn't revel when others grovel because it knows how quickly them tables turn. Love doesn't take pleasure in the flowering of truth because of the power of the tongue and the ability and its ability to produce. Genuine love does not consist of disrespect or abuse and will go through anything with you. Love trusts in the ways of the universe, for the universe always knows the way. Love always looks for the best because everything else is just an illusion. Love never looks back because nothing there wants to be found. Love keeps going into the end because quitting is never an option. Is the pain of your past weighing you down from living your best life? I'm an example of what loving yourself unconditionally beyond abuse can do for your life. Thank you for joining me today, to all my regular followers and subscribers. And if this is your first time listening or watching, I appreciate you and thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. And if so, please subscribe for more content. Please follow or subscribe for more content. If you enjoyed learning about this topic today, subscribe to my free monthly self-care newsletter, where I provide self-care tips and tools on how to love yourself more unconditionally every day. If you are ready to become a healthier and more confident version of yourself, I invite you to join my free 30-day challenge to loving yourself unconditionally beyond abuse. All you have to do is subscribe to the monthly newsletter, and you will receive the link to join the private Facebook community. You will receive a 15% discount on all books and products, and you will receive your discount code for the workbook and self-love affirmation PDF. So the discount code gives you all that for free because it's regularly $12. But you just put in the code and you can access the workbook and the PDF and the self-love affirmation. So the community in A Mother's Touch Inc. was created to assist men and women with loving, nurturing, and mentoring for anyone who desires to live a healthy, happy, and holistic life. It also assists men and women financially who are leaving domestic violence relationships and having a hard time financially. The organization and the Loving Yourself Unconditionally Beyond Abuse community was created based on the desire to be the community mentor and organization I needed when I found myself struggling after leaving my 20-year unhealthy and abusive relationship. I was struggling in every area of my life, and I just needed somebody, a friend, a mentor, somebody. So that's who I am in this community. That's who I am in life, And the mission of A Mother's Touch Inc. is to assist families and co-parents with becoming the healthiest, happiest, and truest version of themselves. Because what I found is that healthy adults raise healthy, happy, and holistic children who have a healthy love of themselves and others, and if you already started your healing process, if you've already started healing the emotional wounds of your inner child, but you feel stuck in one area or more, I invite you to a $50 discount off the regular monthly membership price of $99 when you register. The members only group dives deeper into loving yourself unconditionally, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, relationally, and financially. Click on the link in the description box below. If you are listening to the podcast on Anchor, Apple, Breaker, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Pocket Cast, or Radio Public, use code GEGATZ and receive your $50 off the regular membership price. And please share this episode with anyone you think may receive some benefit. If you are watching on YouTube, please like, comment, share, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. If you or someone you know is in need of financial assistance, or if you are interested in donating to our mission, please visit www.amotherstouchinc.org to fill out the financial assistance form or to make a donation. All donations are greatly appreciated and accepted. I thank you all for joining me today, but you know I cannot let y'all go before I say my prayer to the universe. So let's go ahead and get to it. Dear universe, I love you and I thank you. I thank you for another day. I thank you for life in my lungs, for breath in my body, for being clothed in my right mind, for everything being in working order. I'm so thankful and grateful that I can walk and talk, that I can taste, touch, feel, smell, breathe, think, that I can laugh and cry, that I can sing and dance, that I can run and jump, that I can live, that I can be, that I can love. You are the universe. You are divine God. You are the universal life force. You are source. You are Mother Nature. You are energy life force. You are Mother Earth. You are prana. You are chi. You are my world, my life, my everything. You are my song, my symphony, my melody. You are the great. You are the great love of my life. You are my one true king. You are my best friend. You are my truest confidant. You are my biggest supporter. You are my lover and my man. I'm so thankful that you are my knight in shining armor. That when I'm scared and afraid, you are there to come and rescue me. You are there to come and hold me. I am thankful and grateful that you are my way maker. That even when I don't see, you always make a way. And you show me that you got me. I thank you for being my shelter from the rain, for protecting me, for being my provider of all things. I'm thankful and grateful for the gifts and the talents that have been placed within me. It is a privilege and an honor to serve others in this capacity with my love and my light and my energy. I am thankful and grateful for the energy of your high vibrational love, and that we are continuing to rise above the energies of indifference and hate, that there's a mass spiritual awakening going on in our reality right now. That people are turning back to their first love, which is you. And when we turn our hearts back to our first love, when we stop listening to others' opinion of who you are and start learning to love you for ourselves, we have our own individual relationship with you, and we start loving ourselves and taking care of ourselves. And guess what? We can do that for our neighbors too. I'm so thankful and grateful for your love. You have me. My heart is yours. Mind, body, spirit, soul. It all belongs to you. I've surrendered to you, to your love. And that's whether I am feasting or whether I'm experiencing famine. Doesn't matter if I'm living in abundance or need, whether there's sunshine or rain, joy or pain. I love you because I've been through the downs. I've been through the ups. And at every turn, You're there. You never left me. You never forsake me. You're always there. Let me know that you got me, that you love me. And I thank you for that. So it is a privilege and an honor to serve, to channel, to use my intuitive gifts. And I'm going to do that for you because I love you. And I'm thankful and grateful to see another day. So let's rock this day out. Let's get her done. And so be it. And so it is. Amen. I keep hitting my microphone. I thank y'all for being here today. I want you to go out. Have an awesome, amazing, and beautiful day today. From my heart to yours, as always, namaste. If you experienced rejection, abandonment, trauma, or abuse as a child, you may find it difficult to create a healthy, happy, and holistic life. You are not alone. I am Coach Susie, and I am a survivor of addiction and narcissistic domestic violence abuse. I was raised by a mother who experienced narcissistic personality disorder, and I experienced every type of abuse. I was rejected, abandoned, and traumatized before the age of 10. As I grew older, I attracted these same type of relationships into my life because this was my life. It was all I knew, and it was what I was accustomed to until I introduced myself to something different. In 2015, I left a 20-year unhealthy and abusive relationship with a man who struggles with narcissistic personality disorder. And I began a journey into loving myself unconditionally. It took me 5 years to accomplish living a happy, healthy, and holistic life, and that was primarily due to the lack of financial and educational resources for people like me who were severely traumatized as children and grew up in impoverished neighborhoods. The Loving Yourself Unconditionally movement was created from the mind of a traumatized child who struggled for years with self-doubt and low self-esteem. But I learned to love herself unconditionally beyond past abuse and thrive successfully in life with PTSD, bipolar disorder, and ADHD. I struggled to love myself unconditionally due to the mental and emotional abuse I received as a child. The voices of doubt, fear, and not good enough would constantly haunt me until I began to change my mind. The Loving Yourself Unconditionally movement is a community of people who desire to learn practical and effective ways to love themselves unconditionally beyond abuse. The Loving Yourself Unconditionally movement is not about chasing perfection and trying to be perfect. It's about learning to love yourself unconditionally in every area of your life, no matter what that looks like. It's about becoming the healthiest, happiest, and truest version of yourself, no matter what that looks like. If you are ready to learn how to love yourself unconditionally beyond abuse, pre-register today at SusieSuttles.com. Everyone has something to teach us. My question to you is, are you ready to learn?